In the chaos of war, some names become legends, feared by the enemies, revered by their comrades. One of such names was Colonel Timothy Onwuatuegwu, a brilliant but controversial military officer whose role in the Nigerian Civil War remains shrouded in mystery. Was he a fearless warrior, a mastermind of Biafran's resistance, or a ruthless enforcer? This is the story of the man, the myth and the mystery, Colonel Timothy Onwuatuegwu. Hi guys, welcome to Afriverse's story. On today's episode, we look into the life, the exploits in the Biafran War, and the final days of Onwuatuegwu, one of the most controversial figures in Nigeria's history. Do stay tuned and enjoy the ride. Timothy Onwuatuegwu was a Nigerian military officer and later a major in the Biafran Armed Forces. He was a leading military figure in the Nigerian Civil War and a participant in the 1966 Nigerian coup d'etat. Onwuatuegwu received his commission into the Nigerian Army after graduating from the Royal Military Academy Sandhurst, United Kingdom in 1961, where he was classmates with other officers such as Murtala Mohammed, Mohammed Shua, and Elijah Bisala. In the name of the Supreme Council of the Revolution of the Nigerian Armed Forces, I declare martial law over northern provinces of Nigeria. These words, uttered by Major Patrick Chukwuma Kaduna Nzogu in a broadcast in the afternoon of 15 January 1966, violently violated Nigeria's political virginity. On Saturday 15 January 1966, a group of majors and captains carried out a bloody coup against the then civilian government. A number of senior civilians and military officials, including Alhaji Tafawa Balewa, Nigeria's first prime minister, lost their lives as a result of the putsch. The plotters succeeded in northern Nigeria, but failed in the south, where their builds were scuttled by Major General Johnson Agui Ironsi, the general officer commanding the Nigerian Army. The plotters eventually surrendered to Ironsi, who took over the reins of power in a rather controversial circumstance. Spearheading the coup were the majors Chukwuma Nzogu, Emmanuel Areze Ifejuna, Chris Anuforo, Adewale Ademoyega, Humphrey Chukwuka, Donatus Okafor, Timothy Onwuatuegwu, Captains Ben Bulie, Emmanuel Woboshi. If you find this video worthwhile, please take out some time to like this video and subscribe to the channel, as it goes a long way in supporting our efforts. Thank you. Now let's get back to the video. Major Timothy Onwuatuegwu personally led the detachment of soldiers to Ademolegun's house. Onwuatuegwu made his way to the brigadier's room, where he was lying beside his wife. Upon seeing Onwuatuegwu enter the room, Ademolegun shouted at him, "Timothy, what the devil do you think you are doing?" Onwuatuegwu told Ademolegun that he was under arrest. Ademolegun reached for the bedside drawer of his bed, and as he did so, Onwuatuegwu shot him dead in his bed, along with Ademolegun's wife, who was laying beside him. Brigadier Samuel Adeshujo Ademolegun was Major Onwuatuegwu's boss, and Onwuatuegwu was a frequent visitor of his boss's house. He even ate and dined with his family, and was even referred to as uncle by the brigadier's children. Onwuatuegwu was chief instructor at the Nigerian Military Training College, Kaduna, stepping into the shoes of Chukwuma Nzogu, who had resumed office as acting commandant. Substantive commandant of the Nigerian Military Training College, Colonel Ralph Shodeinde, was at the time busy trying to set up the Nigerian Defense Academy. The head of the Nigerian Military Training College, Colonel Ralph Shodeinde, was killed. However, the matter of his death is unclear. His wife testified that he was shot by several soldiers, that included Major Nzogu and Major Onwuatuegwu. Other accounts claim that a grenade was tossed at him. It is not clear if Nzogu was involved in Shodeinde's death, since presumably he was preoccupied at the time with the killing of Ahmadu Bello. Most accounts place responsibility of Shodeinde's murder with Onwuatuegwu. The same Onwuatuegwu who shot both Shodeinde and Ademolegun, along with his wife, kidnapped but did not harm the governor of Northern Region, Kashim Ibrahim. Sir Kashim, according to Onwuatuegwu, did not resist arrest. When released, Kashim vouched that he had been treated with utmost respect by the men who kidnapped him. Although the coup was stalled by General Johnson Ironsi, both Onwuatuegwu and his superior, Major Chukwuma Kaduna were able to control the northern portion of Nigeria for a few weeks. Both Onwuatuegwu and Nzogwu were arrested by the Nigerian police officers in early February but were not executed, which outraged many northern civilians. On 29 July 1966, Ironsi spent the night at the government's house in Ibadan as part of a nationwide tour. His host, Lieutenant Colonel Adekunle Fajiyi, military governor of Western Nigeria, alerted him of a possible mutiny within the army. Ironsi desperately tried to contact his army chief of staff, Lieutenant Colonel Yakubu Gowon, but he was unreachable. In the early hours of the morning, the government house Ibadan was surrounded by soldiers led by Theophilus Danjuma. For an entire year, Onwuatuegwu was in Enugu prison until May 30, 1967, when he was freed by the Biafran leader, General Odumegwu Ojukwu, when he was in need of experienced hands in the military to lead the Biafran Army to battle. When Biafra was declared independent on May 30, 1967, Ojukwu made Onwuatuegwu a major in his army. Onwuatuegwu didn't see much action until Operation OAU in 1968, when Onwuatuegwu fought against the forces of the Nigerian General Benjamin Adekunle in May 1968, but lost the city to Murtala's men on August 28, 1968. On July 18, 1968, Onwuatuegwu was able to capture the city of Umuahia from Benjamin Adekunle after many years of heavy fighting. On April 21, 1969, Onwuatuegwu assisted Hutu soldiers during the defense of Umuahia, in which Onwuatuegwu was able to drive off all Nigerian forces within a day of fighting. Colonel Timothy Onwuatuegwu and the Biafran S-Brigade were about the most dreaded Biafran army units. They liberated many Biafran citizens from the Nigerian armed forces and fought until the immediate fall of Biafra on 28 September 1967. Enugu, the capital of the Republic of Biafra, was in disarray. Civilians were quickly fleeing the town. Even soldiers were scampering to safety, most hastily preparing to leave town for their respective villages. In effect, Nigerian Army thought the end of the war has come. Enugu was penetrated by Nigerian armed forces after the infamous OP Junction withdrawal of the Biafran troops without a fight. The alleged saboteurs at the Biafran Army Command Headquarters had been at work. They had ordered the withdrawal of the soldiers at OP Junction, thereby enabling the easy run by Nigerian forces to Enugu. The alleged plot was, since Enugu was the capital of Biafra, its fall would then lead to the collapse of Biafra and the end of the war, barely months after beginning the war. But they were mistaken. The fall of Enugu crystallized a new set of Biafran soldiers determined to reverse the course of the war. Unknown to the Nigerian forces, a new crop of Biafran soldiers were being galvanized by General Odumegwu Ojukwu. As Enugu was being deserted by civilians and soldiers alike, Ojukwu mounted trial. The operation killed many top officers of the Nigerian armed forces. When it became clear to the Nigerian armed forces that they could not advance through Ogu, through the defenses of the S-Brigade, they resorted to penetrate via Oji River axis. The alleged saboteurs at Army headquarters ordered the withdrawal of the Biafran armed forces from Oji River without a fight. This forced the S-Brigade battalions to pull out to Ogu, as Nigerian armed forces came via Oji River axis to cut them off. Perhaps the greatest accomplishment of the S-Brigade was the recapture of Owerri. On February 7th, both the Nigerian Air Force and Egyptian mercenaries bombed out and completely destroyed the villages of Umuahia and Ozu Abam, which prompted accusations of deliberately targeting citizens. The government ordered the Nigerian Air Force to avoid civilian targets, but they disregarded this request and continued bombing towns and Red Cross shelters. In late February, President Gowon visited the 16th Brigade in Owerri and attempted to encourage them to keep fighting until reinforcements could be sent. On May 14th, Nigerian troops attempted to capture the Omanelu Mwabo and Elele Ubimini Awara roads. but were beaten back by defending Biafran soldiers, leaving them isolated and short of food. On March 15th, the Biafran S Division under Timothy Onwuatuegwu made a frontal assault on the 16th Brigade but was forced to halt after suffering heavy casualties. Colonel Onwuatuegwu placed half of his men under the command of Major Joseph Achuzia and S-Brigade, but was refused by Onwuatuegwu, and the two men almost shot each other after drawing their guns. President Ojukwu stepped in and gave Major Achuzia control of the S-Brigade for 1 week. Continuing the frontal assault on Owerri, Achuzia's plan ultimately failed and he retreated after suffering heavy casualties. Ojukwu then immediately restored Onwuatuegwu as commander and began drawing up new plans for invading Owerri. On March 31st, the Biafran 14th Division under Obu Ugokalu attacked Owerri and secured control over 70% of the city. Biafran soldiers began intercepting radio waves that revealed the 16th Brigade was going to execute all Biafran POWs due to lack of food. The Swedish pilot Carl Gustav von Rosen and his Biafra Babies fighting squadron consisted of 6 MFI-9 junior fighters, constantly hounded Nigerian airdrops, making Nigerian food supply scarce. On April 24th, the remaining 300 soldiers of the Nigerian 60th Division began fighting their way out of Owerri and escaped into Nigerian held territory on April 25th. There are two accounts of Timothy Onwuatuegwu's death in days following the surrender. One account by his former co-conspirator, Major Adewale Ademoyega, states that he was tricked into attending a meeting at a hotel with federal forces of the 3rd Marine Commando Division. At this meeting, that was said to have occurred on 15 January, he was summarily shot by vengeful soldiers personally aggrieved by the assassination of Brigadier Ademoyega and his wife during the 1966 Nigeria coup d'etat. An alternative account, given by Olusegun Obasanjo, a colonel at the time, states that during the process of surrender, Onwuatuegwu unsuccessfully attempted to ambush him near Amichi. After this, he apparently made for Cameroon border. Biafra had already surrendered to Nigeria before the death of Onwuatuegwu. The truth about Colonel Onwuatuegwu's death remains a mystery. Thanks for watching this video, guys. I would really love to know your thoughts about the life and death of Colonel Onwuatuegwu. Some see him as a heroic revolutionary who wanted to change the fortunes of Nigeria, while others see him as a murderous villain. Please let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Don't forget to smash a like and subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification button to get more content like this about African history. It's with Nnamdi from Afriverse Story. See you in the next video.